Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman from Arkham City, which is probably what I would rate as the best overall Batman game, though Arkham Knight obviously had a lot of awesome mechanics, and even Arkham Origins had some really good stuff, but this one overall, I'm going to have to give it the win. So I'm very happy to have a figure from this game at this scale and in this line, and did they do any good? Catwoman was a giant travesty. Batman, I have to say, is much better, but still lacking in quite a few ways, so we'll see how you guys feel by the end of the video. But either way, let's get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands roughly, not counting his ears, just about 18 centimeters. With the ears, it's 19, and that's going to make him roughly 7 1/8 and then 7 1/2. So he's got some size to him, not a ton though, maybe not quite as much as you would have thought. Scaling with Catwoman is questionable. You'll see a photo at the end. Here he is with Darwin, Darwin, what are you doing? Is that size. And then here he is up against a rival collectibles figure. I get a lot of questions about scaling for these guys. They are going to scale with Marvel Legends as best as I can, because Marvel Legends are all over the place, but that's what they're going to be. Okay, so this guy, let's do a question of the day first. Haha, you thought I wasn't going to do it. I am. Which bat suit from the games is your favorite? For me, I'm not even going to count like the skins and stuff, the extra ones, because there's just too many. I have to say I like the suit that he has at the beginning of Arkham Knight, which is meant to be a new version of this suit, I believe, if memory serves. It's been a long time. The one that he has before he gets his Iron Man suit for Arkham Knight. I like that one a ton. Next would be this one. Okay, let's look at the aesthetic. I have to say, at first glance, it looks pretty darn good, especially if you only count the top half. It looks wonderful, and I think most of that is due to the fact that they got a really good job done on the head and on the cowl and the cape and this whole upper region. It looks great. The big broad shoulders, the big chest. It actually looks like a freaking superhero, which is wonderful. I love it. Is it absolutely perfect? No, not quite, but it looks pretty darn good. The only problem that I have, the biggest problem I should say, only big problem if I can figure out what I'm trying to say, is the proportioning's a little bit weird. His arms are quite large and long, and his legs are relatively short and skinny. So it does throw it off quite a bit. I'm guessing a lot of people won't notice, but his thighs should definitely have a little bit more shape and meat to them. They're very straight up and down and not imposing, and he's got some pretty thick thighs in the game. Not like crazy thick, but they shouldn't be the same size as his arms. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I don't think most people will care, but it is definitely worth mentioning. And I have to say, it's one of the better overall compositions we've seen from McFarlane Toys for a Batman figure. Though now we have a couple of good examples, even though one of them is Superman. So it does look pretty good. The Bat logo on the chest, it's nice and clean. That is a separate piece, so they don't have to worry about painting it. All the sculpted details are fine. They went a little deep on the recessed lining and stuff, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. They got the silver on the knuckles. That's a good touch. Looks good overall. No metal look at all, though, for like the gauntlets and things. It's all just black plastic. There's really not much paint on this figure at all. It's the knuckles and the belt, and I think they had to paint the boots because I don't think those are a separate piece. So other than the face, that's it. It's almost solid plastic, but it's enough that it looks okay. And a good paint job on this guy would go a long way. I might grab another one just to paint it up someday. But I like it overall. It's definitely not perfect, but it's good enough. And for a $20 price point, or I think it was $25 because of the bath, I will give it an 8. It's pretty good. You could go 9, but the proportioning is a little bit too weird for my liking. Okay, now as far as accessories go, this is a big problem. We have no Batarang. We have none of his iconic accessories except the grapnel gun, which is basically just a solid black piece of plastic. And I'm thinking maybe the hook is painted, but maybe not. It doesn't really look like it. It's just, that's it. That's his only accessory, not even a Batarang. So that sucks. We do get his Disco Doom, so he's got that. If he ever wants to throw that at somebody, he can. And then we do get the trading card, which does highlight the inaccuracies in the cowl and whatnot. But, oh, I just realized his eyes are solid white instead of eyeball looking. His eyes should have, his pupils should show. But actually I prefer it without it, so that's okay. It's got kind of a long Halloween look a little bit, doesn't it? You guys know what I'm talking about if you're a Batman fan. So yeah, the trading card, which demonstrates the inaccuracies again. So 0 out of 10 for accessories. I'm taking spite points away because he should have at least a batarang. So yeah, I'm not even counting what he does have. Time for the articulation. The head, big on double ball pegs. Not the best executed, but it can look up enough, I guess. Does look down some, lean side to side nicely. And then of course you have your full rotation so you can get your nuance posing. And I love it. Alright, I like that. Shoulders. They go up to horizontal. The cape will flex some, but it does get in the way. That's understandable. Same thing for this. Again, understandable. And then you get your bicep swivel, but they did the thing where they sculpt the bicep into the shoulder again. That's just the laziest thing. So what they do is they sculpt it, as far as I can tell, they sculpt it, and then they just cut the parts up. They don't go back and re-sculpt where the parts were separated, which you have to do if you want it to look good. Like, I get making it a solid sculpt. You don't sculpt each individual piece. You make one sculpt, you chop it up, then you go back. You take the bicep off the shoulder. That's nuts that they leave those kind of things on there. That is just crazy. But you do get your bicep swivel. You get a single jointed crap elbow like they were doing in the very beginning of the line. It doesn't even do 90 degrees and it's hideous. Why are we going back to that? They've been doing such a better job lately and now we're doing things like that. I'm saying we again. Why am I saying we? I'm losing my mind. The wrists have a little ball hinge. They're okay. Also, no fist hands. Only these two gripping hands. So yeah, I'm going to take another spite point away. I'm going to go -1 out of 10 for the accessories. For the torso joint, he leans back a little bit, which is good. And he leans forward basically none at all, which is not good. Side to side is pretty limited, but it is there. And then on the lower joint, he can lean back even farther, and he can lean forward basically not at all. So that's not good. Side to side is okay. You do get your rotation out of both of those. A lot went into this that's better than average for this company, but they've also taken a few steps back to where they were, even though they've improved on it in other releases. Bring the legs forward. You can't really do it because his diaper goes so low. So if you want to force it, you can, and the diaper will stretch, but that's about as far as I would go comfortably. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Going back, you get a little bit of range, so that's okay. Going out to the side, his hips are very loose, by the way, but you do get full-on splits. So I definitely like that. That's a good thing. Thigh swivel, basically non-existent. Double jointed knee is not the best looking knee, but it does work, so that's alright. To straighten his leg out perfectly, you have to put his leg in a giant curve. I hate that their neutral position for their legs is at a curve. So when you pose his legs straight, you have to see the joint. Don't like that. Ankle joint is on the ratcheted ball hinge, and they can't go any farther forward than that, so that's super limiting. And then the heavy ratcheting means you have 3 positions that his foot works, so that sucks. That's a big pain in the ass. And then you can't even properly use the ball hinge to get an ankle rocker because of this shin guard being in the way, because they made it out of hard plastic. So that sucks too. Toe joint is too far back on the foot and very loose, so that sucks. Big bummers there. Now, I'm going to give it an articulation rating of only 5 out of 10 because it's pretty awful. This is not a well-executed figure. The diaphragm and the waist don't lean forward, the elbows are single jointed, the hips are loose and they can't be brought forward properly, the ankles are terrible, which means most other posing is going to be difficult. It's just not a great figure. It's going to stand there and look good enough, but posing wise, you're going to be very limited. And couple that with the weird proportioning, overall lack of paint, I'm going to give this guy an overall rating of a very generous 7 out of 10. The only thing saving it is that it's a $25 figure with a bath part, and it's a unique sculpt. So, like, it's good enough, and I like a lot of the things about it personally, but as a reviewer, I have to take it to task on those problems that it has that it shouldn't have. Now, the only thing left to do is rate the cake. It's not great. It's not great. It's not good. That's not a very good cake. I'm pretty sure he had way more cake than that. I'll give it a 3. This was not sculpted by one of McFarlane's regular sculptors because you can see clearly there's no ass crack detail and there's normally a whole bunch of butt crack. There's a whole lot of cleavage in the cheeks. This one just doesn't have it, so that's a bit of a bummer too. I'll leave the rating where it is, though it seems fair enough. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down too. That's okay. And if you haven't subscribed, I would suggest it, not just because I want more subscribers, but because I have new videos every day but Wednesday and thousands already on the channel. So do come back for all of that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.